like to call the Development Review Board meeting to order. It's June 18th, 2024. And we have two things on the agenda.
Sure. So we'll start with the minutes of last time. So if we have a motion regarding those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay, that's unanimous. Okay. We also have a sign-in sheet this evening for those folks that will be presenting information to the board this evening, and it includes the following oath statement. I solemnly swear or affirm under the pains and penalty of perjury that the statements I make, testimony I give, and other evidence I submit to the Development Review Board at the board's public hearing held on this date shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. And again, we ask you to sign in before you present information to the board this evening. The next item on our agenda is disclosure of any ex parte communications and conflicts of interest regarding the matters before the board, and I'll go first, and then Ron. So this evening on the board's agenda is an appeal of the zoning administrator's decision. That's me. So what will happen is I will step away from the table, present my reasoning for the decision, and then you folks will decide without a staff person being at the table. And you can go into deliberative session if you'd like, et cetera, anything that you'd like to do. So that's what I'll be doing with regard to the South Street appeal. And Ron, I think you had something else.
Yes, I will follow Dan into the audience because I live in Nathaniel Court condominiums, and the applicant lives about 200 feet from my door, so I feel as though I have a conflict of interest in that case, so I'll sit and listen.
Okay, great. Okay, so with that out of the way, we do have two hearings this evening. As Charles mentioned, we have a application for grading in the floodplain in preparation of the skate park at Depot Street, Rotary Park. And this evening we have a representative from MSK here who will be presenting that information to the board. Andrew, do you have...
I'm connecting. I don't have Wi-Fi right now, so I'm just trying to connect into that real quick.
Okay. If you do have trouble, everyone does have all the plans.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 30 more seconds and then I'm just going to start talking about it.
Well, if she's getting set up, when we come to the item on Nathaniel Court, I was planning to look to you to run me through remembering what that decision-making for cannabis production is under the CCC and where local permitting falls. Do you feel that you're able to help provide that context, or is it?
I think that's appropriate for the applicant to speak about the licensing issues, because that's not relevant to my decision. The licensing did not play into the decision. It was strictly an interpretation of the regulations as they're in place. So.
Okay, I'm just going to go. You guys have the plans in front of you, so like that.
Worst case, I can go over there.
Yeah.
All right. I'm here for the board to present the skate park for the town of Bennington. The skate park is approximately 17,000 square feet and is primarily located within the existing parking lot. About 2,200 square feet of that would be in the green space of the park. The skate park is located outside of the floodway, but within the floodplain. All structures and amenities will be secured against flooding, and fill will be limited to what is necessary to support skate park structures. Beyond the skate park itself, proposed improvements include walkway path improvements, additional site lighting, and limited landscaping and seating. As part of the proposed redevelopment, the Depot Street entrance will be closed and the parking lot will be reconfigured, and approximately 8,000 square feet of pavement will be converted into grass. So if anyone has any questions about our intent, it's fairly straightforward. Yep.
How many parking spaces are you going to
eliminate?
14. There are 90 currently, and we will have 76. A large part of that is the current parking is not very efficient, so we're able to, maximize the parking out there.
Anyone else have any
Yeah.
questions?
You mentioned the grading.
Yep.
Is the grade going to be elevated?
So because it's a skate park, a lot of it is flat, and there's going to be then elevated elements.
Right.
So the flat would basically be a cut throughout, and the elevated elements would be a fill. So in sum total, it's probably going to balance out, with the majority of it being a cut through at a lower spot, and then they kind of go up. If that answers your question.
Yeah.
And there's also the bowl and the...
And part of that is a very big cut for the bowl and the snake run, which is kind of a long tubular snake pattern that would also be a cut. So I can feel confident that most of these elements will be balanced out.
Ron?
It looks like you're not eliminating any trees, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
That was a big deal.
Yes, that was a very big deal. We'll have limited planting for screening for nearby properties. Yep.
And I understand that the grading is going to happen outside of the river corridor, so I just want to make sure the river corridor boundary is basically the whole southern part of the
Yes.
parcel, because it's kind of,
Yeah, it's the red line.
Yeah,
It's the
okay.
documents. That is the limit of the floodway.
okay, so that's why anything north of that is
We
very.
kept everything out of the floodway.
Yep.
Any other questions from the board?
Just a curiosity.
Sure.
If the water floods, is there a way for the water to recede easily, get out of the
Yes.
skate park?
So because all the low elements, to my knowledge, all will have drains in them because they're exposed to the elements. So any rain or anything like that is going to have to be drained out. So there will be drainage for all of the depressions in the skate park.
Any questions from the audience? Sam?
I mean, I don't see, San Marino, Bennington, Vermont, I don't see a print or anything, and I was just wondering, is this going to be put on the website for the citizens to view this as well? Secondly, I don't ever remember in my day of the Woolsack really flooding into the town parking lot, but is this still being proposed, or is this final?
So Sam, I can answer that question. So yes, these plans will go on the website probably Thursday. And all these plans are subject to the final review and approval of the select board. There will be a hearing on Monday, the 24th, when this project will be presented to the select board for their review and approval. So that will all be, you'll see those plans on the website ahead of that meeting.
So currently, with the proposed select board meeting coming on the 24th, this will be in the packet, or?
Yeah, the
Okay.
plans will be on the website and in the packet.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any motions or? Okay, we have a motion to approve. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. So I will step away. Okay, so the second one is the condominium. And our zoning administrator is going to give us some information on that. Got to sign in. Okay, so this is I'm Dan Monks, I'm the planning director, zoning administrator, et cetera, for the town, and it's my responsibility to make decisions regarding applications for zoning permits, although I do have a deputy as well. deputy zoning administrator who often takes certain cases. This will be the second time in as many meetings that you folks will be looking at cannabis, a cannabis-related issue. Because it is relatively new to Vermont, the legalization of cannabis, our zoning regulations did not contemplate, nor do they directly talk about or define cannabis production, et cetera. So that's why we're here tonight. Cannabis is an unsettled issue, and it's up to you guys to settle it. The applicant has applied for a home occupation. As you folks know, a home occupation is a minor portion of a dwelling for the conduct of an occupation which is customary in a residential area and which does not have an undue adverse effect upon the character of the surrounding area or neighborhood. So given that the regulations don't address cannabis, so it'd be hard for me to say without you guys making a decision that this is something that's customary in a residential area. Cannabis production is a new thing, as you know. And also there is the issue of possible negative effects from odors, et cetera, and I think the applicant's going to try to address that this evening. So this is up to you guys to make this decision. Once you make this decision, it'll be precedent, and it'll apply to future applications, and they won't have to come back to you every time. If you determine that it's either allowed or not allowed, it will be a precedent that is set. So it's up to you folks. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but certainly the applicant's here to present his information. Any questions for me at this time? Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, my name is Matthew Falco, and I live at 432 Nathaniel Court in apartment B6. I am applying for a Tier 1 cannabis manufacturing license. They are intended and can only be home occupation uses. They must be in residential zones. Vermont legislation clearly established some residential cannabis activities to be legal, therefore customary residential activities, since at least 2017. These activities include home cultivation, cannabis harvesting, cannabis processing, lawful extraction and infusion. Home occupations are permitted as accessory uses in all districts where residence is permitted. Therefore, DRB cannot use the non-customary residential activity argument as a reason for denial in this appeal decision, as the proposed use is clearly customary now, having been lawful for 7 years. Also, it cannot be shown that a compliant home cooking style cannabis extraction, infusion, or formulation into edible consumer packaged goods could ever create any noxious fumes whatsoever. So this proposed use shall not have any undue adverse effect on the surrounding community. The infusion machine that I possess is in fact an odorless model and is totally self-contained. You cannot smell the cannabis even in the kitchen. Our kitchens at 432 South Street lack any external kitchen ventilation. Therefore, the concern about noxious fumes is absurd because A, there is no ability to ventilate, and B, cannabis is a medicine. It cannot be noxious. The definition of noxious is poisonous to human health. Medicine and food cannot be noxious. I have been performing these procedures at my residence for the past 3 months as research and development and have had no complaints. In fact, I have a letter here from my next door neighbor stating that there are no undue adverse odors outside of my dwelling. I can share that with you all if you would like. It's my belief that the town should seriously explore the creation of sensible cannabis policy to prevent any future unnecessary delays in other cannabis operator permit applications. The lack of sensible cannabis policy has literally cost me the opportunity to earn money during the booming summer season this year. In conclusion, I feel that this permit should be granted forthwith, as my business formation has already been unduly delayed for long enough. Can I answer any of your questions? Yes,
Out
sir.
of curiosity, it says Harold Morris is appealing this, but I just find your name and all the rest of the literature, I don't find.
I'm a renter, sir.
Pardon me?
I'm not a property owner. Kara Morris is the property owner.
Yeah.
She has supported me in this licensing effort.
That person's not here, just to testify, right?
She is not here. She lives in Montana, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
It's not clear to me what product specifically you're looking to manufacture.
Infused edibles. So, candy. That's the most popular infused product on the market. It's mostly gummies. There could be chocolate, it could be drinks, it could be granola bars, it could be any food, really. A muffin, a brownie, you know.
Oh, okay, so there's quite a wide range of possible products.
I could infuse anything, truly. Like, but the market only wants a certain number of things, so I really can only sell what the market will take.
And the Tier 1 licensing, does that, through that process, do you specify what products?
After they issue my license, they require that we go through product licensing for each SKU, where they review our SOP, and then they require that we, do lab testing, that it's all certain potency and whatnot. But they do ensure that my recipes are safe and compliant, I guess. Did I answer your question? Yes.
Do inspectors come and check that the kitchen's clean?
I will require a safety inspection from the building inspector first for my certificate of occupancy. Then an inspector from the Office of Cannabis Management will come and inspect for their concerns.
Do they come on a regular basis?
They come when you apply, and then they can come anytime, but I would not know because I do not have a license.
So where are you in that licensing process?
I am currently only missing a certificate of occupancy from the building inspector.
So you have in hand?
No.
Nothing.
Right. So, without a certificate of occupancy, you cannot submit the application. So this is the last item that I require for my application.
And you said that the process involves site inspection, testing of sample manufactured products. What's the timeline, just generally to bring, you're doing a little bit of educating, I believe, our board member, this is the first time. How long does it take for that licensing process to play out?
Typically, it's about 6 months from the first submission. I submitted in March or April. Once I have my certificate of occupancy and I submit my application, the control board they meet monthly like you do. So it will take at least a month for them to answer me. And at that point, they might give me a few more tasks. So then that could add another month to the process. I believe I'm going to have to overcome a presumptive disqualification from my criminal record history. So that will take probably an extra month. So I feel like the soonest I might be able to have a license might be August. And then I have to go through the individual product licensing, which will probably take another month. So maybe September if everything goes smoothly, you know? So I guess I'm just wondering, like, I don't know, I guess maybe this isn't the right place to ask this. I feel like the permit committee should have been able to approve this without y'all, because I showed in my application that this proposed use is compliant with each of the 9 requirements under the bylaw, and still I'm here defending the odor of cannabis as not being noxious. I don't feel like that's an appropriate reason for denial of this proposed use. I feel like home cooking, whether it includes cannabis or not, is a customary residential activity. Infusing food with medicinal herbs has been a customary activity since the dawn of humanity.
That really has nothing to do with what we're deciding here, though.
Well, it should.
I have a question for you, which
Yes.
is, your bylaws for the condominium says that no commercial businesses will be allowed therein, and that would impact your landlady. And it also says that their underwriters have said that they would not renew their insurance, which also should worry your landlady. Has she said anything about that?
She has not. First of all, your reading of the HOA bylaw is incorrect. Firstly, this is not a commercial business. This is a residential home occupation.
Any home occupation that earns money is a commercial business. If you pay taxes on it, it's a business.
A home occupation is different than a business in the bylaws of your town.
I'd like to see.
A home business can be more than 30% of the property, while a home occupation must be less than 30% of the dwelling. They're different.
I believe that, the central question here is if this use is customary to this area. There are, I think it is a factor that rather than being a standalone single-family home, this is the time to look at it in a relatively high density.
Home occupations are protected in all dwellings.
So where is a home occupation? It says, like, when you said a home occupation must be customary. Where is another one located like this business?
There are only 9 of these licenses that have been issued in the state so far.
Residential in Bennington?
There are none in Bennington. They are in other municipalities, but they are in residential zones.
Okay, well, this is the Bennington bylaw, okay. Also in the bylaw, you're aware that there's a list of allowed home occupations, and of course.
Home cooking.
The fencing or growing marijuana is not one of the allowed.
I'm not asking for a proposed use for growing marijuana. I'm asking for a proposed use for infusing food with marijuana.
And I do think that that's a distinction that's material.
But you're going to be growing the pot.
I did not say that.
Not manufacturing products.
Cultivators are not manufacturers. Manufacturers process the harvested product into something.
So you're not going to be growing pot plants there at the...
I did not say that. I said my proposed use is for manufacturing cannabis-infused goods. I'm allowed to cultivate cannabis in my home as a citizen of the state of Vermont. Everybody is. We're allowed to cultivate up to 2 plants in our residence. That makes cultivation a customary use in all dwellings, not just this zone.
Well, that's for, like home level consumption, that's not for commercial use.
That's correct. I am not talking about cultivating for commercial use. I may cultivate for my personal use at that location, notwithstanding the permit application.
But you're not going to use any of your pot plants to...
I don't have any pot plants yet. I would purchase cannabis, perhaps from the cultivator you approved last week.
Yeah, this is really about manufacturing, where those raw materials are coming.
So what would the board like to do? I say go into executive session.
Executive session.
Yeah,
I agree.
executive. I make a motion to go into executive session. All in favor?
Charlie, just to clarify, just for the minutes, it's deliberative session.
Oh, deliberative, okay.
I don't know what any of that means.
That means we're going to go into a private meeting and discuss it.
Can I give you this letter from my neighbor?
Yeah. And there'll be a decision tomorrow.
Just to be,
We could possibly decide to, what's the term?
continue it?
Yeah, we could possibly.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I won't, just so everybody knows, I won't be participating in the private deliberation. That will be you folks, just so Matt knows. I won't be participating in that. You guys will, I'll know when you tell me what the decision is. So just to clarify how that will work.
And
Yeah, we'll let them, when we finish, when we adjourn, they can make their decision. Yeah, we'll leave together. But we can return now since they're finished up.
All
okay.
right. So unless there,
Thanks for listening. Am I done?
excuse me?
Yeah, you can leave.
Yes, you won't need to stay around. Thank you, Matt. Okay, unless there is any other business, it would be appropriate to adjourn and go into deliberative session for you folks.
We're back in open session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to announce that this is my last meeting, it's my appointment, and it will be ending at the end of June, so you'll have a new person here, I assume. The select board points, I don't know if that's happening. I've enjoyed working with you for 2 years, it's hard to believe it's already, my term was for 2 years, and so I'll pass the torch to the next person.
Well, Ron, thank you very much for your service. We really appreciate it.
What would the board like to do next? Like to adjourn? So motion to adjourn?